Welcome everyone to today's webcast, SSDI and Medicare, your firm income maximized. I'm Nathan Chapman, president of Firmable. We have some first timers in the audience today. So if you're not familiar with Firmable, we help law firms generate new cases through data-driven traditional and digital marketing. We work in all types of law now, but we were founded 30 years ago in the space of Social Security disability. So your area of practice is one we know how to grow better than anybody else on the planet. In fact, like today, our next webinar is particularly designed for SSDI firms, so you can go online now, in fact, to register for it. If you've considered or even used television advertising in the past for Social Security disability, it's a whole new world today with new technology and new opportunities. So find out what's going on either for yourself or at least learn what other disability law firms around the country or even in your backyard may be doing. To register, go to firmable.com. That's Firmable with an I, not an O, /webinars. All right, now I'd like to introduce our panelists. I suggested to them that nobody really cares where they went to law school, so I asked each of them to tell me how long they've been in their fields and something they do for fun. So I'll start with Gary Benberg. He's a managing partner at Levine Benjamin, based in the Detroit area. He's been an attorney with the firm for over 25 years. He recently discovered the game of pickleball and is going to compete in a tournament for it this summer. So I don't know about you, but I had to Google pickleball, and apparently it's a thing. So he works there with Joseph Houle, the co-managing partner. Joe has been an attorney for 28 years and enjoys biking. Biking I did not have to Google. All right, then our third panelist is Mark Sneerowicz, who's president of Disability Health Advocates. That company is nationwide, but they're based out of Utah. Mark has worked in Medicare and retirement planning for 15 years. He's the father of two unlikely, but you never know, future Hall of Famers, one in Nordic skiing and the other in hockey. So with that, let's see what we're going to cover today. First, we're going to talk about what is Medicare Advantage. Second section, we're going to talk about why establishing a Medicare Advantage practice can be a perfect complement to an existing SSDI law practice. Thirdly, we're going to talk about how Levine Benjamin's experience with Medicare Advantage and what it means for the bottom line. And then fourth, how do you get started? So let's start with what is Medicare Advantage? Mark, you are up first.
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you to everyone who's joining this webinar. Again, I'm Mark Sneerowicz, and I'm the president of Disability Health Advocates. A number of years ago, we started realizing that within the SSDI process, the process would go like your client comes to you, we're going to win their case, they're going to get SSDI, and that's the end of the relationship. And so we're switching that to you're going to win the case, you're going to get their SSDI, then they're going to qualify for Medicare, and then we'll help them maximize the benefits they're entitled to under Medicare. So after you receive the favorable decision and your client receives 24 SSDI payments, they automatically qualify for Medicare. Medicare leaves over large deductibles, co-insurance, and does not provide prescription costs unless they pay, or prescription coverage unless they pay extra for it. So really what we do is we help you educate your clients about the Medicare Advantage plans available to them. Medicare Advantage plans can help decrease healthcare costs, increase the benefits that your clients are eligible for, as well as it can provide a significant additional income for your firm. So what exactly is a Medicare Advantage plan? So there are two main parts to original Medicare, Part A, which is hospital, Part B, which is medical. So what a Medicare Advantage plan is, it's a combination of those two parts, plus the prescription side, which is Part D, all rolled into one health plan provided by private insurance companies, but funded by Medicare. So rather than Medicare paying 80% of every bill, they will pay a lump sum to the insurance company of your client's choice based on what's available in their area. And then now that insurance company will administer all the Medicare benefits. So once your client has a Medicare Advantage plan, they no longer have to carry their Medicare card. Of course, we recommend they keep their Medicare card in a safe place, but they don't have to carry it with them because Medicare is no longer directly paying for their medical bills. A private insurance company is paying that. So there are pros and cons, of course, to Medicare Advantage plans. Firstly, there are physician networks. With original Medicare, you can go to any doctor nationwide that accepts Medicare. But with Medicare Advantage plans, there are physician networks like HMOs and PPOs. Now, The term HMO used to scare a lot of people because they thought there were like 7 doctors in their neighborhood that they can go and see. But with Medicare Advantage plans, generally the physician networks are incredibly robust. So they can typically see all or most of the doctors they're currently seeing without issue. Now, if they go outside the network because it's an emergency or an urgent situation, then they're covered just like they're covered in network. So that's not an issue. Most people on Medicare, whether they're receiving SSDI or they're over 65, most people do not go to the doctor when they're on vacation unless it's an urgent or emergent situation. So the physician network isn't as inhibiting as maybe it once was. Now, Medicare Advantage plans offer significantly lower costs. Many of the plans in most areas are zero premium, so your clients are paying no additional premium for the Medicare Advantage plan in addition to what they're paying for original Medicare. Now, if they had original Medicare plus a standalone drug plan, in most cases, they're paying extra for that standalone drug plan. But now with a Medicare Advantage plan, they're paying no additional premium, and it includes prescription drugs. Now, with Medicare Advantage plans, there are co-payments to see a doctor, have regular medical services like x-rays or an MRI or CT scan, surgery. There are co-payments for that, but all those co-payments add up to a maximum out of pocket. That maximum out of pocket varies from county to county around the country, but once the co-payments add up to a certain level or certain amount, your clients are 100% covered for the rest of that calendar year. With original Medicare, they're paying 20% of all medical bills plus co-payments or co-insurance and co-payments with no maximum. So Medicare Advantage plans provide a significant benefit right there. Additionally, many Medicare Advantage plans have extra benefits that are not included with original Medicare, such as dental, vision, transportation benefits, gym membership in some cases, and over-the-counter credit each month or each quarter where your clients can get extra products like whatever you'd find in a pharmacy over the counter, like cotton swabs, sunscreen, Tylenol, aspirin, ibuprofen, vitamins, supplements at no cost to them up to a certain limit. Now, also there are specific Medicare health plans for specific groups of people, such as people that are receiving both Medicare and Medicaid. So these Medicare Advantage plans for what we call dual eligibles, because people are dually eligible in some cases for Medicare and Medicaid, they're health plans that will help coordinate that. Now, also, if people have chronic health conditions like diabetes or other things, chronic lung conditions, there are Medicare plans in certain areas that are specifically designed for those people to get them extra benefits and extra care above what original Medicare will provide to them, and almost always at no additional cost. So there are certain times of year where people, or there are restrictions to when people can add or change their Medicare health plan. Firstly, during the annual enrollment period between October 15th and December 7th, everyone on Medicare is eligible to change their Medicare Advantage plan or their drug plan. But of course, with your clients, if they're going on to Medicare for the first time, let's say June 1st, of course, they have an initial enrollment period to get onto a plan when they're first eligible for Medicare outside of this annual enrollment period. Now, in addition to that, there are numerous special election periods or special enrollment periods where your clients can change their plan or add a plan year round. Some of these enrollment periods are based on their financial status. If they're receiving financial assistance from the state, like Medicaid or low-income subsidy, they can change year round. Also, if they move from one county to another, or maybe they lose their retirement or group coverage through their spouse's work or something like that, they have special election periods that allow them to change year round, but it also provides for a year-round business for the attorneys and non-attorney reps that we work with.
All right, thank you, Mark. I'm going to take over the second part of why establishing a Medicare Advantage practice is a perfect complement to an existing SSDI practice. So thank you again for this opportunity to explain a little bit about how specifically Levine Benjamin has turned in Medicare practice into a very successful part of our existing law firm now. Now, as we all know, SSD clients do receive their traditional Medicare 24 months after the date of their first disability eligibility. And what we've discovered is that our Medicare clients or our SSD clients are really kind of the forgotten market of Medicare recipients. You turn on the TV, especially during that open enrollment period that Mark described, and see the commercials or Medicare advertisements. It's, older people, retired people. But obviously, the people that we get on SSDI at any age are Medicare eligible. Oftentimes, people forget that those folks are on Medicare as well, and those are the people that we are here to serve and to help. Now, one of the important things about having a Medicare practice for us is to help diversify our area of law. Now, our law firm, we do Social Security disability, we do a little bit of also PI and workers' comp, but the vast majority of our fees here at Levine Benjamin come from Social Security disability cases. Now, as we all know, you've got to keep your finger to the political wind, so to speak, when it comes to SSD. The last presidential person in the office was, and Republicans in general can sometimes be against disability claimants and attorneys. Then also, as well as we went through COVID here for the last year with interrupting the cash flow in an SSDI practice, having the underlying Medicare Advantage practice was very helpful to us. That steady income is going month to month without those other concerns, and it continues to grow. Also, the clients are already familiar with our firm after we've won their SSDI cases. So our agent that we have working for us, it says is very, very familiar. It's very easy to sell these policies to our clients because they're already familiar with Levine Benjamin. We've already won their case for them. So it's an easy sell because they're already happy with us. Our agent used the analogy of called shooting fish in a barrel. And what he meant here is that before he came to us, he was as an agent in private practice, he would buy leads or he would run commercials or ads. And he said he'd be lucky to get, one person out of 100 to pick up the phone and one person out of 200 to actually sell. He said here, we give him our list of our clients each month who become Medicare eligible. And he said it's like shooting fish in a barrel. He can convert and sign almost every single one of them because he's providing to them a service that is helpful to them. And they're already familiar with the Levine Benjamin. They're going to pick up the phone. They're going to reply to the letters, and they're going to be responsive to his offer to help them. Now, contracting our clients for the Medicare also brings the firm back to mind for additional SSDI referrals. So that's an additional benefit of opening up a Medicare Advantage practice in your firm. In your typical Social Security case, of course, we win the case. We send them that, we won letter, we call it. We won your case. Here's some business cards. Keep us in mind in the future, and then we're done. We may never talk to that person ever again. In a Medicare Advantage practice, this person, whatever point down the road they become eligible for Medicare, they're getting another contact from Levine Benjamin Insurance Advisors from the law firm, reminding them that, hey, not only are we going to help you with your Medicare, but by the way, remember we do Social Security cases. Do you have any additional friends, relatives, family members that may need SSDI help? Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you won my case a year and a half ago. My cousin Jane needs help also. So we've noticed actually quite a sizable bump in our former client referred SSD cases because Levine Benjamin stays on top of mind to our existing clients as we go through to help them with the Medicare. It's additional type of marketing for our practice already. Also, it helps build goodwill, okay? So what we mean there is that our clients, and just as it's very complicated to go through the Social Security process, disability benefits, it can be also complicated about the Medicare practice. We always get questions, hey, we won your case, what's next? And it's very reassuring when I explain to the client, hey, by the way, we have a Medicare expert in our office. He's going to be contacting you when it comes time for your Medicare to begin, and he's going to walk you through the process and take care of you for that important part of the case, just as we helped you with the SSD case. And our clients think that's wonderful. We've received multiple reviews on Google where they say, hey, not only did Levine Benjamin win my disability case, but they also helped me out with my Medicare. So instead of having a case just from application through denials to a hearing, to even appeals counsel or federal court, we can continue our representation to that client all the way through to their eventual Medicare designation. And that builds a lot of goodwill towards our law firm. Last thing I want to talk about is that piggybacking our Medicare Advantage practice with our SSD practice has been seamless with the technology that we already have. We utilize Prevail for our client database here. I know many of you out there probably use Prevail as well. If you don't, you do something similar. But the way we operate is that we run a separate Prevail report. When we win a disability case, it goes on this report, or we put the case was won, and we put the date that their Medicare is going to kick in, whatever month it is in the future, and we run that report. It goes automatically, merges into Prevail. In the beginning of each month, we run that report and say, okay, for this month, coming up, let's say coming up June 2021, here are the list of hundreds of our clients who are now Medicare eligible this month. Give that to our agent, and he works off that list to help get those folks on the Medicare for that particular month. As he said, that's the whole shooting fish in a barrel scenario where he calls these people, easy to get them on. Next month, first of the month comes, rinse and repeat. He's got that new list right off of Prevail. So it's a steady stream of new clients coming on to Medicare. And that's the next part I'm going to hand over to my partner, Joe. It's probably the most important part, at least the reason why you're here, to understand how this has worked for us, how we've turned in just a little bit of seed money in 5 or 6 years ago to something now it's a major revenue source for the law firm.
Well, thank you, Gary, and thank you, Mark and Nathan. Nathan, for all the work your office has done on this. I appreciate it, and appreciate everyone tuning in across the country to listen to us. I'll be as quick as I can. I'm going to try to speak slowly. Every time I film a commercial with Nathan, he always says, Joe, you talk too fast. So I will try to talk slow and enunciate. Anyways, real world examples. That's what Gary said. That's what I'm going to talk about. So when you sell a Medicare Advantage policy, when our agent sells a policy, we get a commission, a first year commission of $539. And Mark will tell you that that's what we are paid in Michigan. Some states are a little bit more. There's a handful of states that can pay well over $600. I wish they'd pay that much in Michigan. There are a couple of things that I wanted to add to this slide that I did not add. It's not on the slide. So if you have a pen and piece of paper, you might want to write this down. And I will go back over it a little bit in a second when we get to the graph. But we started this in 2015, this business. And in 2015, about February, March, we sold 190 policies for the year. 2016, we took a little bit of a dip, sold 160. 2017, 342. 2018, 377. 2019, 512. 2020, 528. Through April 30th, we've sold 174 policies. So if we extrapolate that out, it'd be about 522 policies. And that's about where we're going to be for, I think, the year. We'd like to grow, we'd like to hit 600. We're going to be right around that 528 number right now, 530 number, until really the Social Security offices open back up and a little bit down this year. So back in 2015, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, one of the insurance providers who sell these policies, paid about $300 per policy. So it's up to $540. Priority Health paid about $400. So you will see increases every year in what the insurance companies are paying you to sell these policies. So those are the initial first year commissions that we earn. The most important aspect of this, I think, are the renewals. I mean, the renewals are like stumbling across the field and finding, a pot of gold. So currently, the renewals are paid out at $270 per policy. And again, if you have a piece of paper and a pen, 2016, we had 66 renewals. 2017, 72, and here's where it really starts to take off. So about year 3. 2018, 242, 2019, 416, 2020, 656, 2021, 1,060. So next year, 2022, we're projecting somewhere between 1,400 to 1,500 renewals, paying $270 a pop. when we first started doing this back in 2016, or I should say achieving the renewals back in 2016, the renewals are about $120 to $150 per renewal. So the renewals go up as well every year. So I'm hoping in 2022, they're paying us, $300 renewal. One last thing I want to say about this slide before we switch it. Most people stay on these renewals. Okay. Most of your clients, this is, like Gary said, it's a one and done, but they are very happy. And like Mark said as well, they're very happy with these policies. There's very little attrition. The only attrition you're going to see, frankly, after 6 years of doing this that we've noticed are someone dies, unfortunately. The people switch plans, they go to a different plan. There's a lot of television advertising on TV regarding these plans, and somebody might think, well, I can get a better deal on the TV. And they switch to somebody, an insurer provided plan as opposed to an agent provided plan. Or people just move, and we've all had that experience. They just move, you can't find them, you don't know what their phone number is, and so they're gone. The last thing on this screen I'd like to add is we've been very fortunate, and I'm going to go over this in just a second, with our current agent. He's been with us a few years now. I think this is his third year, Maurice Jones. And Mo is a businessman. He does a great job for us, but he also likes to be paid for what he does. And frankly, Maurice is the kind of guy that he will say, I took you to Burger King last week and I drove there. So it's 56 cents a mile. So how about a reimbursement? Well, Maurice never complains about the renewals. In other words, he's never telling us, hey, I spent 10 minutes with Mrs. Jones on this renewal issue, or Mr. Smith or somebody else. Never. And Mo's the kind of guy who would tell you, he'd hit us up for it and say, you guys got to pay me for this. And that's fine. Keep an honest man honest, and we'd pay him. He's never complained about that. He's never asked for payment. So when you start developing this practice and you're 5 years into it and you're getting 1,000+ renewals, if you have that type of volume, you're not going to be spending any time on this, and your agent's not going to be spending any time on this. If we go to the next screen, things you need to get your practice up and running. We created, number one, an LLC. We wanted to keep it as separate from the law firm as possible. And it's not perfect, but it's shielded from any liability. There is very little liability here in this process. You are providing people with medical treatment, medical professionals, I should say, that they can see. Like Mark said, it's not the scary HMO, and it's almost impossible to have any issue, but we still thought it'd be safer just to shield the law firm from any potential issues. The second most important thing, or maybe the tied right there with the numbers that I shared with you earlier, finding a good agent is just unbelievably important. And I want to give you our real world example for this, because we struggled, and you may struggle. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to use the F word right now, and that's failure. And we were close to failing on this. We were very close to failing early on. The first agent we hired, she was abysmal, and she didn't like the clients. She was rude to the clients. She couldn't sell those 190 policies in 2015 when we hired her. She didn't sell one of them. We hired a different agent who was fine, young lady, and could sell, and we would have kept her and be happy with her, but she had some health issues. And so we kept her for about 2 years, and she was gone more than she was here. So we're about 2 years into it, and we've gotten 2 agents, and we're kind of frankly about to give up. And we found another agent. Mark got us this agent through an insurance exchange. He had an insurance background. The first 2 people did not have an insurance background. It doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter to you, because like I said, we would have kept that second agent had she been showing up to work. She was selling policies, and it was, like Gary said, shooting fish in a barrel. So our third agent, a guy named Darius Cross, very good guy, sold a lot of policies for us, really started getting the business humming. And you can see from the numbers I gave you, unfortunately passed away of a massive heart attack. And so we're again stuck with, what are we going to do? We found Maurice. Maurice was a friend of Darius's, and he's been with us ever since. Agent certification and training is really important. Now, Mark will deal with this a lot with you. But if you guys have any questions, if anyone else has any questions, I want to give you one real world scenario. So when Darius passed away, we had to have somebody be our agent, because when we couldn't find one for a little bit. And if we didn't have someone be our agent, we were going to lose our renewals. So our office manager took the health exam and she passed it. Bright lady, but she got a 98% on the test. I wouldn't have cared if she got a 62% on the test. I just needed a licensed health insurance agent to be able to put their name down for us to get our renewals. So you don't have to do that, but depending on your volume, it's something you might want to think of just to have a backstop. We have an errors and omissions policy that is tailored to the agent. It's in the agent's name. It provides coverage for any mistakes that the agent may have. It's $435 a year. It's almost, it's very cheap, a lot cheaper than your malpractice through your attorney's policies. It's a $1 million, $3 million policy. So it's really not that bad. This is very important. What I'm about to tell you now, establishing a compensation structure with your agent. So currently we have a hybrid structure. We like it. Our agent likes it. We pay our agent $120 per policy sold on those initial policies, those first year policies. And we also provide him with a salary. I think it's a generous arrangement for him. I think he's happy with it. We do not provide any other benefits though. He buys his own health insurance. He does not have a 401k. And frankly, he works out of his house, came to the office, up until COVID, once a week, basically, but generally works out of his house or meets clients when he wants to and keeps us informed, via the internet, via emails, texts, and that kind of thing. Our policy sales have been increasing year after year after year. I alluded to that in the numbers I gave you. And like I said, our income has grown tremendously. So our first year income was in 2015, $23,000. Our second year income was $33,000, $54,000 in the third year, 2018, $124,000. Now we're up to $256,000. As of March 30th, we're at $106,000 for the year. So we're hoping to go from 256, well over $400,000 for first year commission sales only. Our renewal income is really what's taking off. So we've gone from $9,800 in 2016 to $139,000 in 2020. For the end of the first quarter in 21, we're at $100,000 already. So we're hoping to hit $350,000 in renewal income for the year. So this is a business. When people say, can I make money from this? Yes, you can absolutely make money from this. And when I tell you we had problems with our agents, I tell you that because you might too. And I would tell you, I was close to wanting to give up. Mark and I met initially, and I like to give Gary a little bit of static about this. Gary said, we'll never make a dime on this. And I said, let's just try it. And then when we failed with those first two agents, I was the guy who was about to give up. And Gary said, let's do this one more time. Let's try one more agent. And if you look at our numbers, those are true numbers. We would have given up this income for our firm. So it would have been a huge mistake. So if you have questions out there, if you think you start this and it's not going well for you, please remember the Levine Benjamin example, the Levine Benjamin Insurance Advisors example, that is, that you could stumble a little bit, but if you have a good disability practice, an underlying good disability practice, you can process these insurance cases and help your clients in the meantime. And the clients love this. One thing I forgot to say in my notes here is that we have had, in the 6 years we've done this, one client complaint. Now, there isn't a day that goes by where somebody doesn't complain about Gary, right? So we get client complaints all the time. If you're in this business, why is my case taking so long? What's going on? You never call me. I never hear from you. We've had one client complaint in 6 years. When I say the clients love this, I mean they love it, and it takes very little of your time as an attorney. So again, I would tell you, any questions anyone has out there who's listening, please pick up the phone. Please call Gary or me. You can avoid the mistakes that we made, and we're happy to walk you through this. We'll advise you how to set this up for you the first time the right way. To recap everything we've said today, this is a perfect complement to your practice. You're going to retain clients. You're going to keep the old clients happy, and they're going to refer you people that are friends, relatives, more so than what they did just in your Social Security practice, but also in your Medicare practice. So you stay in touch with people. One of the most important things, if this is shooting fish in the barrel, I'd also say this is the gift that keeps giving. SSD is your one and done, right? You go to court, like Gary says, you win the case, and you might never talk to your client again. We've had clients on renewals now for 6 years, and they're going to stay on the policies and be happy. And at $270, $300 a year, it's multiplied by 1,400, 1,800, 2,200. You can see what you're building here. Diversifies your income quite a bit. It's you're not going to be subject to these whims of there's a pandemic and they've taken all your cases at the hearing level because some people wanted to do an in-person hearing, and that's what happened to us. And we have a very big practice, but you're going to have some diversification that, again, is almost recession-proof per se, whether there's a good economy or bad economy. And once your model is set up, like I said, it's not going to take a lot of your time. It's just simply not going to take much of your time, and you'll be very happy with the results and making additional income, but also helping people.
Thanks, Joe. This is Mark Sneharowicz again, President, Disability Health Advocates. So really at Disability Health Advocates, what we do is we help set this all up for you. We teach you how to earn additional significant income by educating your clients about the Medicare health plans that best fits their clients' needs. And just touching on one of the things that Joe said, your Medicare enrollment should reach far beyond your SSDI book of business, because all of your clients have friends and relatives that are also eligible for Medicare, and you can help them as well. It's not just your clients. So you can do a lot more business than just your SSDI referrals. By working with us, you get to maintain complete control over your clients' protected information. You're not sending it to a third party. You're not sending it to us. We are not selling Medicare health plans to your clients. We are teaching you how to do it yourself and keep it all in-house. As a result of that, you're not getting a portion of the commissions. You're getting 100% of the first year and renewal commissions. Our company and any other marketing organization like us, we're paid out of a separate pool of money that you're not even eligible for as an agent. So from your perspective, we work for free because you get 100% of the agent level commissions, and those commissions are generally paid to you directly by the insurance companies, not by us. We do not touch your money in almost all cases. There are a few small insurance companies that are not set up to pay agents directly, but almost all of them will pay you directly. It's a really silly analogy, but what I like to say is that if a meteor hits our office and we're all vaporized, you still will get your commissions because your commissions are not running through our company. At no cost to you, we provide all of the training, really anything that you can imagine for how to make this a efficient and effective and compliant Medicare marketing machine, we will teach you. So this includes ongoing training and support based on products, enrollments, and certifications. So everything that you need to go from knowing nothing about Medicare to being a Medicare expert, we will teach you and we will support you now and down the road, whether it's 6 months or 10 years from now, we will be there for you at no cost to you. We also have everything you need to let your clients know that this is a new service that you provide. This includes, but not limited to, approach letters, scripts. You know, we can have as many calls as you need to give you ideas for how to do this. If you don't have a super large SSDI book of business, we can teach you how to market to regular Medicare beneficiaries in your community. So there's a lot of opportunity to do this in your local community as well as outside of your local community. So really the take-home message there is that you're never going to be in a lifeboat on your own. We will always be there 7 days a week. You'll have our cell phone numbers. If you have any questions at all, you don't have to set up an appointment. You can just call us and say, hey, Mark, or whoever else in our company you work with, but you can always call me. But regardless, you can call us and say, hey, I've got this client, here's the situation, what do we do, so on and so forth. So the whole point to this is to help your clients receive the benefits they're entitled to, but just don't know about. So most of these plans have zero premium. So you're not selling insurance per se, you're helping them enroll into the benefits they're entitled to. When they see a TV commercial for a Medicare health plan, it's typically someone over 65. It might not resonate with them. They often feel like their Medicare is somehow different, but it's not. If you're over 65, in some states, there are additional options available to them. But in terms of most of the TV commercials you see for Medicare Advantage plans, those are the same plans, whether you're 88 years old or 38 years old. So everything that we do is compliant under both Medicare marketing guidelines and state bar rules. This is incredibly important. The senior market health insurance, which your SSDI clients fall under, is a heavily regulated industry, and it's very easy to make mistakes if you're not following the compliance rules. So we make sure that everything you do is compliant. We're all in the same boat. If you get in trouble for violating a compliance rule, we get in trouble for violating a compliance rule. So we're motivated to make sure that everything you do is compliant. So if you choose to not keep the Medicare business in-house, just make sure you understand all the compliance rules if you choose not to work with us. Now, of course, when you add all of this up together, it is a tremendous opportunity for you to earn significant additional income for your firm while providing a much needed service to your clients. If you help them win their SSDI case and then don't help them with their Medicare, chances are all of that money they're getting from their SSDI case is just going to pay medical and prescription bills. You have an opportunity to eliminate that concern for your client while adding life-changing income to your bottom line. So just to go over again the commission schedules for 2021. So the first year commission in most states is $539. The $270 annual renewal, of course, is assuming that you already have clients on the books and your first year commission was a year or two ago, and now you're getting that $270 renewal. Every year, the commissions for the last 13, 14 years I can think of, the commissions have gone up every year. So if you were to enroll someone this year in a $539 or in a plan and receive $539, chances are next year you will receive a renewal that's more than $270 because it should increase. In California and New Jersey, the commissions are higher, $672 with a 336 renewal, and then in Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and District of Columbia, $607 with a $304 renewals. And again, these are paid to you directly by the insurance companies in almost all cases. So I know that maybe for some people, $539 doesn't move the meter, but when you have dozens, hundreds, or thousands of clients, it can turn into enormous money that just snowballs as the years go on. So I'd like to thank you all for attending. Here's our contact information. If you have any questions about the Medicare process, how to get started, the insurance companies available in your area, etc., please contact me, of course. If you have any questions about the law firm side of it, Joe and Gary are more than happy to help. And I think now we'll take some questions.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We do have a few questions that have come in. Mark, why don't you take this first one? Can you do this without having an agent in-house and instead just refer the cases and receive compensation that way?
Well, so it depends. I mean, if you're sort of selling your book of business to a third party, there are a lot of red flags there in terms of compliance and sharing private client information. A lot of our agents or law firms that we work with, they hire an agent that might be a fresh hire. It might be an admin or a paralegal from the firm. Sometimes it's their child or their spouse. There are many different options available to you for how to find the agent itself. But Farming it out to a third party and receiving a commission can get sticky in a hurry.
All right, here's one maybe for Joe or Gary. How much should we budget for startup cost and how long until we actually start seeing some revenue?
When we started the business in late winter of 2015, we invested $21,000 for our agent. And that took us about 6 months. We used that money up, but by then we'd been selling policies and we started to essentially pay for ourselves. So we were able to finance her salary right out of the commissions going forward. So I would tell you 6 months to a year just to be safe.
Alrighty, Mark, somebody is still nervous. Isn't selling insurance allowed ethically by state bar rules?
Yes. So, I mean, we have numerous ethics advisory opinions that we can share with you, but basically what it comes down to is the state bars don't want to have to investigate every other possible industry, whether it's insurance or if you own a restaurant as an attorney or a car wash. So what the state bars, and I'm just summarizing this for simplicity, but if you have more questions, I can go into it in greater detail. But the state bars want your client to understand that the non-legal services are not an extension of the attorney-client relationship. So even if you're an attorney and you yourself choose to become the insurance agent, it's two separate relationships, even though you're the same person wearing two separate hats. So what the insurance department, or excuse me, what the state bar doesn't want is to have someone file a complaint about an insurance issue to the state bar. They don't want to deal with that. So they just want the client to understand it's completely separate. Now, as Joe touched on earlier, the complaints are virtually non-existent. So it's not something you're going to have to be dealing with, but having your client sign a one-line disclosure, making sure they understand that the relationships are separate is important. And we have some templates that we can provide to you that you can look over and alter those so it fits the needs of your firm.
All right, Joe and Gary, I don't know if you're comfortable saying this. Somebody was wondering if you would share what's the base salary for your agent.
Yeah, I'm fine with sharing that. I want to give you some background on that though for just a second, not to be a politician here, but we're in year 6 of our program now, our business. So the base salary when we first started off was about $30,000 a year. We're now up to $55,000 a year and $120 per policy sold. So our agent's going to make quite a bit of money. I mean, well over $100,000, $120,000, $130,000 this year. But like I said, he does all of the work. We're not doing any of this work. Do you have to pay someone $55,000? Probably not to start. And certainly not if they work for you directly, but we're happy with where we are and the income and the revenue that he's providing.
If I could add on to that, I would say that with the firms and non-attorney reps that we work with, most of them pay some sort of an admin type salary with bonuses for production. So you're not taking a huge economic hit at the beginning, but as they start producing and bringing in more revenue, you bonus them out based on that.
You know, Mark, I might jump in with this. So I here at Formidable, I do have a number of law firm clients who are participating in this program. And in some cases, it seems like it's actual relatives who they've made the agent. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so the agent can really be anybody that has an ability to study for the test, understand the material and explain it in a simple way to your clients. So we do have many attorneys we work with that have a child that's a recent university graduate, or their spouse in many cases, or sometimes a sister-in-law or whatever. It can really be anybody that would be a good fit for meeting with your clients.
Okay, and here's a slightly technical one. Do you receive the full $539 commission for dual eligible plans?
So in 99% of the cases, the answer is yes. You receive the full commission. Now, a couple nuances there. That's the first year commission. So if your client has been on the plan for 3 years or whatever, and then they want to change their plan, that first year commission was paid 3 years ago. So in moving forward, it would just be the renewal commission. There are in some cases plans that are non-commissionable, but it's a very, very small number and like less than 1%. And those are advertised or that information is disseminated to all agents every year so that they know not to sell the plans that are non-commissionable, because those plans are usually leaving the market the following year. So the short answer is yes, you get the full commission.
All righty. Well, we need to leave it there. So thank you, everyone. On behalf of Levine Benjamin, Disability Health Advocates, plus the entire team here at Firmidable, thank you for joining us today. Now go out there and get some great clients.